War is a place where time stops, and every second stretches into eternity. Amidst the smoke, fire, and chaos, some bonds are forged that outlast even the memory of the battles themselves. This is the story of two soldiers bound not by blood, but by a promise whispered in the heart of a battlefield. The night was heavy with rain. The trenches were filled with mud and despair, the silence between gunfire almost deafening. Sergeant Daniel Kane, a battle-hardened veteran, crouched in the darkness, his eyes scanning the horizon. Beside him, Private Lucas Reed, the youngest in their unit, fumbled with his rifle, his hands trembling. He was new, scared, and far from the farm fields he called home. "Stay close, kid," Daniel muttered, his voice rough but steady. "You'll be fine as long as you stick with me." Lucas nodded, too terrified to speak. The enemy struck at dawn. Explosions tore through the earth, and shouts of command mixed with the screams of the wounded. Daniel and Lucas moved as one, navigating the chaos. When Lucas stumbled and fell, Daniel was there, pulling him to his feet. When fear threatened to paralyze Lucas, Daniel's gruff voice cut through the haze, steadying him. Hours passed like days. As night fell, the battlefield lay quiet again. The dead and wounded scattered like shadows across the scarred landscape. The two soldiers found a moment of respite in a shallow trench. Lucas, clutching a letter from home, whispered, "I don't think I'll make it out of here, Sergeant." Daniel's gaze hardened, his voice low but resolute. "You will, and if you don't, I'll make sure your family knows how brave you were. That's a promise." The next morning, a desperate mission came. Their unit was tasked with holding a position until reinforcements arrived. It was a death sentence, but they didn't flinch. In the heat of battle, Lucas was hit. He collapsed, blood staining his uniform, his breath shallow. Daniel dragged him to cover, shielding him as bullets tore through the air. "Stay with me," he shouted, his voice breaking for the first time. But Lucas's grip on Daniel's hand loosened. His final words were barely audible. "Don't forget your promise." When the battle ended, Daniel walked away alone, Lucas's letter tucked inside his jacket. True to his word, Daniel visited Lucas's family after the war. He spoke of Lucas's courage, of the young soldier who had faced fear with strength beyond his years. Years later, Daniel would sit by a window, the letter still folded in his pocket, a reminder of a promise kept and a life lost too soon. He often wondered if Lucas ever truly knew the impact he had left behind. A story of sacrifice, loyalty, and a bond unbroken by death. War steals many things, but sometimes it leaves behind stories that whisper through time. This was one of them, a soldier's promise, fulfilled beyond the battlefield.